we've got our game time. Hey, what's going on? Caster Rav. Excited here to be with Stripes and Waffen, passing the finals here for the LAS, the League Amateur Series. This is just the beginning. We're going to be right into the grand tournament. I believe it's going to be January 2021. I don't know the exact start date offhand, but this calendar is all up on the website. So just go check out the LAS website. Check out the LAS Discord. There's still sign-up spots available for the Season 2 preseason. Come on over and play. We're the best free league around, and you get to be in on some of this action. Guys, we've got Champion Select. Let's hop in and talk through the action. Waff Stripes, are you present?
I am.
Cool. All right.
I am excited for this next game after the close one that we had. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. Stuff happens, but I'm excited for all of this that's coming out. We already see some changes on the side of the Direwolves. They are now on to blue side as opposed to red. So I like the change. They took away the Hecarim, they took away Akali, and they are first picking Vayne. That got banned out last time. I'm really excited. Not many changes not any changes coming out for bans on the side of the Bonobos, but it worked last time, but we're not going to get the salty run back.
And Stripes, we got to see Very Wet, also known as Mike, his Vayne in the game 2 of the semifinals, and he had a stellar performance. Picked up a lot of kills. He maybe didn't even die that game. Maybe it was just once, but had a real good semifinals performance. And we're going to see if he can bring it back.
He did.
And they do need this win. Remember, 1-0 for the boosted Bonobos. This is a best of 3, so it's do or die now for the Direwolves. And Victor picked up in the mid lane.
He's gonna.
There's Sora's Vi.
Is he good on Vi?
Last week he showed a monstrous performance on Vi, helping the Direwolves secure the 2-0 victory.
So they're
2 weeks ago.
They're 2 for 2 on their champions. They're the same team as they're picking in the second game semifinals so far.
Is Vi a strong choice right now in the meta, Rav? Like for jungle?
There's a lot of stronger junglers out there at this point. The items are not bad on Vi, but I don't. She's kind of middle of the road at this point. I know our buddy Dave would say that she's very, very strong at this point, but I think there are some better picks out there.
At the same time, people are still trying to figure out the meta, and they might put Sora onto Vi to be more of a role player. The one thing that I am very, very cautious about is the Thresh pick. You first pick Thresh, and it opens up a lot of possibility when it comes to counter picks, when it comes to supports. They will pick the Nautilus on the side of the Direwolves, which I believe Nautilus is just a little bit stronger than Thresh because he's a bit more tankier and still has quite reliable engage, while Thresh is heavily reliant on the hooks. The Shen pick is going to be very interesting if they don't pick someone that can dive in to help with the engage. We are going to see some more bans coming out tailored to the Direwolves. Pantheon and Malphite will come down.
They need to ban Nunu right here. The Bonobos played Nunu both games of the semifinals, and they still haven't picked their jungler yet. That Shen is going top for sure. As the top laner played in week 3 and in the semifinals on the boosted Bonobos. What was that, Waff?
I think you're right. I think the prediction's good. Nunu. I also think that Victor and Shen and Thresh work extremely good into these 3 champions. Like I think that Vi, when she goes in, Nautilus when she goes in, completely countered by Victor, puts down the W, the team fight's screwed up, they're gonna get locked down.
Isn't just in general a good counter pick against Vi is Shen? right?
I'm thinking Victor, right?
Ooh.
And Shen too,
Right?
yeah.
Whoever Vi goes on to, Shen will immediately channel alt onto that person. The Syndra is mid. Again, Yukimoto, I believe, went Syndra in that second game, so they're pretty much
He
rehashing their semifinals game 2
It's gonna-
comp.
It is going to be a much tougher matchup into Victor instead of Heimerdinger, because Victor doesn't drop things that you can literally throw back at him for damage, and the Ornn is going to come out. That's so much reliable engage. Chain CC is going to be an option. Ornn ult, Nautilus ult, not hook and passive along with Vi ultimate. So much CC that you, and a lot of it you can't really avoid. So that's going to be really good. And we're going to get a Zoe pick?
Yep.
Oh,
Must be confident to pick that into Syndra.
It's Victor bot lane.
Whoa.
What?
Wow.
God,
Okay.
turn.
Love it.
Oh.
Can they win the finals with a Victor bot lane? This is season 11. This is preseason. Anything goes, right, folks?
Indeed, anything does go. Something to keep in mind now. Last game, the Bonobos had a lot of AD, and stacking armor was probably going to be the best call. Now they have a lot of AP. Now they have a lot of magic damage. Not necessarily AP, but they have a lot of magic damage. Shen's passive and his Q do magic damage. They don't. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Some magic resistance is going to be very helpful, but at the same time, you're going to have to watch out for the Graves as he can build that lethality. So you're going to want a little bit of armor so he doesn't get close to true damage.
I think that Bonobos have a lot of sustainability through a team fight. They can kite, they have a lot of CC, they have a lot of tools to get away, create space. Shen has the ability to save anyone that has single person damage put onto them. So Vi going in, Syndra alting, Vayne landing his 3 stacks. None of that's going to be able to quick burst a person down, which is what Direwolves really want, right? They want that lockdown with their abilities to a nuke. And they're not going to be able to do it versus this comp. I don't think they have. Like, I think Shen creates and answers their question.
Yeah, Thresh does as well for the same reasons that you're pointing out. Really the Direwolves with their Vi and their Nautilus and Ornn, they're definitely looking to engage. But the Bonobos do have the tools to disengage, and they can go champ for champ in the scaling battle against the Direwolves. It's not like either team has a distinct advantage over the other, but I can tell you from knowing these teams is that the Direwolves have picked a comfort comp. Each one of these players is very, very comfortable on these champions. You could say it's their favorite champion. And this is especially true with the Ornn top and the Syndra mid. And then Mike Very Wet has been playing Vayne for a long time, since the start of the game, and can really pop off on that champion. And these players are going to hit their skill shots, and they are going to be able to coordinate with each other. This is an experienced team, and they picked easy engages and champs they're comfortable with. I like the Direwolves for that reason, but you're right, Woff. I like if the Bonobos can be patient and kind of stick some baits out there, can actually counter this Direwolves comp. But Shen's got to be really on the ball with those ultimates, and the communication has to be super tight.
Comfort picks do make a goddamn difference. Let's be honest. Right, when you play comfort champions, you don't have to worry about your spell usage. Like when you're going to do, it's all just reflex at that point.
Mm-hmm. Second nature.
They're going to be in a position right now where they can concentrate on the macro because they're so comfortable in their champions, which is what all gold to platinum players usually need to do. Like,
yep, fully agree.
It's really fundamental that you practice macro.
There is one more thing that we want to keep track of. Yes, the champions of themselves are pretty even when it comes to scaling, but still I would give the scaling advantage to the Direwolves for the sole reason of the ornaments. The Ornn upgrades of the mythic items are going to be so much more impactful. especially on that Vayne, a little bit more AD does help. Does help, and that, but more so that attack speed. Because if this Vayne goes Kraken Slayer, like I think, because there's not too much hard engage onto her, and
Okay.
she has some tanky people in front of her to eat up Zoe bubbles, so she doesn't get slept. She's probably gonna want to go Kraken Slayer this game. Gale Force doesn't seem like the best option right here
For Vayne. For
for
Vayne.
Vayne. For
Okay,
Vayne, yes.
I like that. I like the choice. Here's my issue. Graves is an early game jungler who likes to invade and put the pressure on. Vi is pretty much trying to make the run to 6, right? With the ability to gank with Q. And Shen has the ability to team up with Graves, and I think that Graves can put enough damage down that 2v2, at least topside, Graves should win. I think that
Indeed.
you said scaling, right? Scaling for the Direwolves looks
Yes.
really good. I think that the early game for the Bonobos looks like I don't know what Vector does bot lane. Rav, any pointers on this?
Yeah, well, what you want to do is you want to get your hex core upgrade as quick as possible, and you want to be able to queue a wave in 2 shots, or the back wave in a single shot. So you're basically looking to wave clear in bottom. You're keeping the Thresh there as a way out, and to hook under turret. You're not looking to be aggressive in a Victor Thresh bot lane.
So a safe wave laning. Sorry.
So bot lane. So with that, bot lane's going to be a farm lane. Top lane is going to be influenced a little bit by the junglers. I don't expect too much happening top lane in terms of kill pressure, unless someone completely oversteps or we get a really good gank from a jungler or a dive. Mid lane is all going to be around those Zoe bubbles. I don't see Yuki having much kill pressure until he hits level 6. That's when that ultimate comes up, but I do think that he is favored in the matchup overall, because especially when the ultimates come online, you can just QE where Zoe is teleported from and stun her when she comes back, because no matter what happens, she always goes back to the spot she was when she cast her ultimate. So you can just stun her there, get your full combo in, and alter at the end to finish it off. So we're not seeing a lot of top lane, but already both of them are pretty chunked out.
And Stripes, I just want to agree with your point there, but also remember that Zoe picked into Syndra, did have that last pick of the game, chose Zoe into the Syndra matchup, so was fully aware who he was going against and chose that Zoe to be able to take advantage of the matchup as much as possible. Like yourself, I have to see it to believe it, whether that's going to happen or not, but must be confident on the pick to go ahead and choose it to be able to take the Bonobos on to be the grand champions, Season 1 champions here in the League Amateur Series.
Indeed. Something to keep in mind when it comes to compositions and what they want to do. The Bonobos are a poke comp. Like, there's no way about it. Victor, Zoe, just poke for days with the Victor E and Q, Zoe Qs and E's. Meanwhile, on the side of the Direwolves, they want to engage a lot more. They want to get action going on. This Link gets chunked out a little bit.
Talking about action, there we go. Orin's like, I got action. I'm like an 80s action movie here. I'm Sylvester Stallone, motherfucker, right? I got steroids up the wazoo. Like, come on.
TRT Vitor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think what the quote was for LLS. The Assassin, Bruiser, Tank, Mage, Marksman, all list of everything Orin is. He does so much damage in lane, especially when you land that. I mean, stun will come in, and the sleep countered onto the Vi, just stopping the gank. Not too much.
So we're seeing junglers each on their respective sides. Graves checking the top. He's going to be seen here. Vi is going to take the scuttle on bottom. Sora and Naga going to be able to go up a camp, but game is still awfully even And if I were to put a Rav's prediction on what lane's going to get the most action, it's going to be this mid lane. And here we're having it. It's Graves with the red buff. He's going to get a couple of shots on Yuki on the Syndra, but it's not going to be enough. But we're having Vi is going to fall up, but it's going to get sleeped. And it's going to go ahead and fall back, getting all this fire. It's like he's Sean Paul up in here getting shot with this fire from Graves. No?
I like
no?
Sean Paul.
No? Yeah.
Like,
no.
hey, I'm
All
a big Jamaican.
Okay, yeah, all right.
All right. So there are a few things I want to touch up on before we get too much action. Yuki is running cleanse in the mid lane. Pretty much, I think that's a really good choice, especially into a Zoe. Get a bad E, you're really low. You just want to cleanse that out so you don't get comboed with a Q and taken down. But you got to be careful about when that cooldown is. Play a lot safer when you don't have cleanse up. TP advantage is going over to the Bonobos because Paint did take TP on the Victor, and Lynx, of course, has TP of his own. And right now, that's going to be evened out just a little bit, as Reverse is actually just going to walk to lane instead of keeping back to it. The wave is pushing towards blue side, so I think that was a good call by him.
And looking at the CS and gold numbers across the map, the Direwolves are just CSing slightly better than their counterparts for the most part. You know where that's different is in mid lane. Gold is fairly even. That Dragon and Infernal should be one that they're going to fight over. It's going to depend on who gets this early bot lane advantage. So far, the Direwolves are pushing up with the Vayne Nautilus and are going to get the early CS lead. 52-39.
Something to keep in mind as well. As a reminder for those who didn't watch last week or 2 weeks ago, and those who don't know the changes to Victor, he no longer has his Hex Core. He upgrades his abilities by getting shards. The random drops of minions that will continue as some action goes on in the mid lane.
Whoa, we're having Nautilus. He's going to get damaged up, but the shield is going to be enough to take, and Thresh is going to get ignited. And he doesn't like that. That's kind of a bad touch. That's one of those areas you want to avoid.
Red light touch.
Red light.
Meanwhile, Vincent forced to flash away, gets the Syndra ult committed onto him, and he lives on sub 20 HP, I believe. I didn't see the exact numbers,
but we're getting
he
a fight
nearly
around Dragon.
died.
Graves is going to get CC'd, but is going to be able to continue on with his team. Linux going to be able to get the first one here onto Graves, who now is going to be countered with the Ornn, who's going to be coming in, going to be able to land the ult, going to be taken down by the Dragon, but Ornn's not had enough. We got Vayne here in the back end, going to be able to get the stun under the wall. They're tying up the Direwolves. They're looking to finish this, but oh my god, the Bonobos are coming back in. 4 people strong, and it's a 1-1, and they're going to take control of the river, and it appears the Dragon, like Smog in the Hobbit, they will contain, shall be theirs.
Mike chose, or Very Wet chose, to shoot the ward twice in that team fight instead of the guy in the bush that he pinned to the wall. That was unfortunate. It was close.
I also want to point out, Vincent got a really good sleep onto Very Wet as well.
He's going to get caught by the Thresh at the end of this play. So not only the Dragon, but a kill at the end. And Sorenyaga is going to think about that for 12 seconds. Continue, Stripe. Sorry about that.
Vincent did get a really good bubble onto Very Wet, forced him to flash away, protect himself because he was very low. A good Zoe W, or good Zoe Q, my bad, would have definitely killed him in that sense. So he was forced to flash away. That's a summoner spell they're not going to have. There is no flash in the bot lane. However, there is a Hex Flash on Lofton. He did take that with the Inspiration Tree second. Summoner spells across the board. Yuki still has both of his summoners, but while Sora was getting caught out as in the bottom river, Vincent did pick up a proto belt, or excuse me, a rocket belt from a balloon from a minion, and the burst from it this early into the game just chunked out Yuki so bad. He was forced to take a bad back,
Look at those
gave up
noodles.
some minion wave.
Oh, but it's not just the noodle. It appears we have some sort of nerf equipment here, and Sora Nyaga is going to miss with the knockup. The Flash is going to get up into turret range, but is it going to be enough? And Ornn says, no, I will charge forward.
Oh!
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 He died to the turret, though. Can this be a 2-for-1?
Graves is definitely going to be picking that up. Vi can only slide to the left, slide to the right. Maybe make
Cha-cha
some sort of
slide.
dance. Yeah, a little cha-cha here. And Virus now 4-1, 300 bounty. And we're going to see, is the jungler of the boosted bonobos, are they going to be able to carry this? And wow, all 4 kills, 100% kill participation here at the 10-minute mark. It's all jungle all the time.
Vi looked like he was just put up against that wall and shot.
Yeah. Fire, just full on firing squad. Not much really you can do. If you go into the turret, you won't get executed. Good stun coming out from Yuki. That was that combo I was talking to you about. But not too much damage to put on kill pressure right now because of the barrier pickup used right away. Because Vincent knew what was coming.
Once again, dead even game here as laning phase draws to an end.
I'd like to point out where all this gold difference is. The supports are dead even. In the top lane, there's a 700 gold lead in favor of the Ornn. Mid lane, there's a 200 gold lead in favor of the Syndra. Jungle, 1500 gold lead in favor of the Graves. Bot lane, 500 gold lead in favor of the
Here they're
Vayne.
going in. They're getting CC onto both champions here in the bot lane. They're saying, we're not done with one. No, we want to get both of you. But with the Kayle ult onto the Thresh is going to keep him alive for just long enough. But the Direwolves are fighting back. They're going onto Lynx, on here onto the Shen, who's going to be caught out. And Victor's going to be trying to get back to tower. He's going to be able to get back, but without a lot of friends, he's going to feel awfully lonely and afraid, possibly scared.
That was such a good fight. But there was also plenty of mistakes coming out of the Bonobos. Victor managing to land the 3-man stun with his cage, but not able to capitalize on it too much. He does get a stack onto it as we get a little action mid.
Oh, I thought he was going for the R.
Excellent Q there. He hit it. His R is on cooldown. Looks like about another 45 seconds on it. But he did hit that max
Syndra?
range Q. Oh no, on the Vi engaging onto the Syndra.
Oh, I thought the Syndra could have had the easy ult.
He did have the ult up, so
So I thought that was it.
Indeed, that was the Zoe's real flash, by the way. She can still pick up others for her W, so
catch
keep that
on
in
that one.
mind. I was actually wrong in the end, as it looks like that the Vayne will go Immortal Shield Bow instead of Kraken Slayer.
He thinks he's going to be getting jumped on. I think Mike is correct.
It's all going to be about positioning with this Graves and trying to dodge all of these Thresh hooks because Shen in and of itself, there's enough peel that Shen just can't just walk up and straight up E very wet.
Yeah.
And Zoe and Victor are not going to jump on anyone ever. That's just not how the champions work.
So what do you think they have to do?
For the Bonobos, I think you need to rely on this Graves. You need the Graves to get into a really good position, ult him with the Shen, and then get good multi-man taunts. There's a good sleep going on, but unstoppable with the ultimate. Trade Dragon for kill.
and just as that was going on, Dragon was being taken, so I was watching the Dragon, but the kill was in mid.
Got more action coming on though.
Got Direwolves being able to start it off. Remember, they got a kill at the start of this fight, so they really should have the advantage, but the Bonobos are collapsing. It's a 3-on-2 in the middle, but now it's a 2-on-2. Ornn is weak, but he's able to get back to tower, but it's now a 3-on-2 for the Direwolves, and they're going on to the Thresh, first being able to take him out, only the Shen left remaining. So yes, the dragon goes over to the Bonobos, using that Graves advantage, as you were so aptly pointing out, Stripes, but the team fight win, and the advantage here in the solo lanes increases for the Direwolves. I love it. We're going to have an objectives versus gold type of game. My favorite scenario. Objectives on Bonobos, gold on the Direwolves. Let's see who's going to come out on top.
Okay, so
Look at all of those bounties.
crazy.
We have 3 bounties on the side of the Direwolves. So the gold lead is not nearly insurmountable. 3k, few kills onto the Syndra and Vayne will easily turn that around. But at the same time, it's the chain CC, the lots of reliable CC that the Direwolves picked ended up turning that fight into their favor. Now look at the items starting to come online. Luden's Tempest for Syndra, Divine Sunderer for Vi, Sunfire Aegis for Ornn.
Shield bow.
Huge. Shield Bow has been online for a while for Vayne. Huge item spikes coming on. Meanwhile, what's on the other side? The only completed item is the Eclipse on the Grave. So, huge item advantages this early on.
Direwolves
Especially since they're mythics.
Direwolves want to fight right now before these items get completed. And
I kind of look.
Middle.
Oh, here we go.
Nope. Okay, deciding to head back.
It kind of looks like Syndra. It kind of looks like Syndra and Vayne both had an agreement that they're going to take their pants off and be more aerodynamic this game, because they have they are just
They're like
flying.
swimmers, are they shaving too?
Ian Thorpe.
Yeah.
Ian Thorpe Torpedo, or like Michael Phelps.
I
No,
love
they're
that
just
name,
playing it
Torpedo.
like. Yeah, I love that name too. Syndra is just like double man stuns in that fight beforehand. Okay.
Just misses
Just
out that
playing
one.
great.
But
Ooh!
Nautilus
Oh,
is
here
going
we
to catch
go.
the one inside, but he's really deep. The shield's going to be on. He's going to have to
That
flash
tower.
out.
Okay,
Super
tower's down.
deep in is Sorenyaga. He's going to get collapsed on by 4 people, but the Rift has been called up. It's going to get the first turret. It's going to get the charge on the second. And now Thresh! The hook on hook action! It's all kind of hookers out here, and Thresh is going on top.
Oh.
Oh! Vincent, the fake grabbing the flashes at the end to take down the Syndra. I like the effort coming in from Sora, but the problem was he flash ulted, but there was no follow-up onto it. There was no way that they could finish off the kill. Why doesn't do enough damage this early on to actually just break people down, even with Hail of Blades fully procced? That's just problematic for them in the end. Excuse me. Now items are coming online. Now we have Luden's Tempest on Zoe. Victor hasn't backed yet. He's sitting on 1,200 gold. That's enough to finish a Luden's Tempest. Meanwhile, Sunfire Aegis just got completed for the Shen off the back of that double kill. Locket is completed for Thresh. All of these items are now online for the Bonobos. So, that advantage is pretty much gone, and it's just under a 2k gold lead
Guys, I'm
for
getting
the
that
Direwolves
itch.
now.
I'm getting that itch. Something big's about to happen, so I'm just gonna interlude. We're seeing the Direwolves they're looking for a pick, but I just want to say thank you guys for joining me here, Stripes and Waffen. But here, deep in, Graves is gonna get engaged on by the Syndra. Alt's gonna be able to take him down. That is going to be early dragon pressure that the Direwolves are going to be able to get on. Oh, but knocked out is the threat, the Vayne to be able to get the sleep onto the CC, but he's going to be able to survive on the outside of the fight, and there's not enough damage to be able to knock him down, and a big swing over for the Direwolves. What a finals is what I wanted to say, guys, before this, once again, chaotic team fight in the Bonobos jungle. We're having another nail biter here, and I couldn't ask for a better LAS season finals. Thank you guys for joining me. Special guest Waff in the house, joining on the third man seat here for the finals. We're doing it right here in the LAS.
Thanks for having me.
We are. I want to point out something Massive. Syndra is one of those champions that has 3 different primary keystones. Electrocute if you want burst, Phase Rush if you want to dodge, and Arcane Comet if you want more poke in lane. That is the reason we saw why you take Electrocute. The Q, the E, into the Electrocute and the ultimate for the solo kill onto the Graves, takes the jungler out of the equation. So that's a smite advantage immediately. That's basically a free dragon if Vi remains alive. But in and of itself, Vincent did get another sleep onto Very Wet, but the flash into the bush and the heal coming out prevented him from going down. Kept him alive, allowed him to put in some more work, and just pump out the damage, leading to a few more kills in their favor.
So let's call this what it is. Shen. Shen's got to address this. Like if Syndra R is so strong, he's gonna have to be a little bit quicker. He's gonna have to pay attention to when Syndra's going on someone. Drop that ult.
So
He
far, I have
definitely
not seen
is.
Shen with the real game-saving ults as of yet this game, but there's still a lot of game left, and he's hit at level 11 now. Got the second point in the ult. Now could be the time that we see a game-changing Shen ult be able to turn a skirmish or a team fight.
They're not addressing the mic issue. Like,
We're 0-1 on this vein.
Mike's out here executing Order 66, just blasting people left and right. Okay, like they better take care of business.
I don't know the reference, but it sounds like a human rights violation.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't know
Probably
Star
was
Wars?
Jesus.
Bro!
That's the
Bro.
kill Jedi. He's out here killing Jedi.
Come on, I got married as a Klingon, alright?
Oh
Part of that.
my god.
Oh,
I'm just joking, I didn't do that.
the burst from the Syndra. Again, that's why you take Electrocute. There's really only one real tank in this team composition for the Bonobos, and that's the Shen. If you count others out, yeah, you have Merc Treads on you for Graves, but that's not enough to stop the immense burst, especially with a finished Horizon focus and Luden's Tempest for the Syndra. It looks like they're going straight to Baron. Ooh.
Appears like it. It's still awfully early, so it might take a little while.
Well, they're going to back away. They tried for the sneak. Reverse did have TP if they wanted to full commit onto it, and plus he did have his ultimate as well. Nice little stun onto the Shen. Now this is where itemization is going to come into key here, because there is so much burst damage coming out of this Syndra.
What?
As it looks like little actions going on.
Outstanding. Yukimoto is top notch. Out here looking like Van Gogh.
Damn, he's painting up a storm then. If paint's being kills.
2 seconds away from cutting off part of the gear.
Oh, look at this.
He's bursting people too quickly, and there, another one on the backside.
He's cut off part of his ear wrap. He's out here Van Goghing it.
Wow. And what he does for his craft, and it's paying off. 6-1 and 6, 162 farm.
I want to know how many games he's put in on the Syndra, because it looks clean.
Absolutely. And then here, on the top side, Lofton going down.
Not
even giving the kills.
Yuki is not a stranger to carrying games. He carried games before, but I want to point something out. If you saw the text box while we were talking about how good Yukimoto is, a certain big demigod just upgraded his mythic into the Forge Fire Cape. Or the Forge Fire Aegis, whatever one it is. Forge Fire Crest, that's what it is.
Holy, look at the size of that stun.
Oh.
Oh.
I think the flash wasn't that necessary, but they're still pushing their advantage. But like my point is that Forge Fire Crest is complete, which means next level, hitting 14, being able to upgrade some mythics of his allies.
Syndra.
Definitely Syndra first. Definitely Syndra first. You want her to keep going.
You want
618 on the Syndra.
Thanos snap. As soon as Syndra
But engage onto the Graves, and it's Vi this time, not able to one-shot
That's
like the
weird.
Syndra, but we're having the TP coming in. Fresh trying to save the Graves. And the TP looks like it was canceled.
TP did come through. The Victor TP'd in.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Just the team fight disengaged there before anything could happen. No kills going over to either.
No kills, but a major objective. The dragon now puts it at 2 a pop. 2 ocean dragons for the Direwolves. Now, 1 ocean dragon in and of itself ain't that powerful, but you start stacking those. Get 3, you get 4, and it's really, really strong. Match that onto Soul. Your tanks are basically unkillable, especially since the Vayne is on the other team. Meaning that you don't have that good tank shred of that Vayne, and you don't have a Fiora in the top lane, so you don't have that tank shred there either. It's all going to be coming down to taking down the squishies in the team fight, and it's going to be really hard to do from the Nautilus engage and the Vi engage as well.
Oh,
not to mention the Syndra burst as well.
Let's see. And Nautilus goes with the Dreads line, being able to land the hook. And Thresh is not going to be long for this world as Sorenyaga finishes up with the Q. Let's see what else they decide to do. Orin is split pushing the bot side.
Talk about game-saving ultimates. How about life-saving ultimates onto the Graves? Keeping him alive to allow the shutdown onto Very Wet. That was a 700 gold bounty. 1,000 gold from 1 kill easily helps you get into the game.
Fight on the bot side. Orin's going to be able to land the knock-up, and he's going to flash in. He's going to try to finish it. Being able to finish it off. Gets it onto Faris.
Wouldn't you say Ella said about Orin? He's like an assassin, tank, everything?
Assassin, mage, bruiser, marksman.
Looks like it.
And support, everything. He can do it all as Victor finds a kill onto Sora. But meanwhile, Vincent does get taken down by Yuki. Syndra, one of those champions, if you get her rolling, she is nearly impossible to stop. But if she gets behind, she is nearly impossible to get going. And it looks like Yuki on the Syndra is full blast as even more the Eye of Luden comes out. There is that upgrade on to the Luden's Tempest for that Syndra. Even more damage coming out.
And you might have had it already for 5-6 minutes now, but Very Wet's also built the Rage Blade on Vayne. That's normally the power point. When you get your first mythic item and then get your Rage Blade, that is your power point where you can really turn on and really start to do a lot of damage.
He changes to Rage Blade. Now gives crit chance. However, you are no longer able to critically strike. Instead, you get bonus damage based on your crit strike chance. In addition, there is no ramp up. It's just a flat attack speed, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is 40%. And your third attack applies on-hit effects. No need to stack it up. So that's a big, big buff for Vayne players.
Oh, and they're going to be getting caught. Zoe's going to go in without any vision. Really, really deep. And Yukimoto now, if Bonobos can lock him down, and they do, they're able to take him out at the end of the fight. But Very Wet, he just started ult. He's into the back line. He's going to try to get Graves. He's be able to get the shutdown. Oh, and he gets the double kill onto him. It's a 3-on-2. Now 4-on-2 here into the back line. And it's Direwolves are going to be able to clean this up. And what are they going to be able to take with it is the question. What do you think, Waff?
They didn't address the mic question. They didn't. I don't know really what they're trying to accomplish. Like, they're not... Like, I guess you can't really choose between Syndra and Vayne, but holy...
They chose Yukimoto there. They got him out, which was good, but there's 2 parts to this equation. And if you ignore one, well, the other is sure to, I don't know, find an integer or some sort of math thing, I could say.
Just something else to keep in mind while they were starting that Baron, another Ornn upgrade came out onto the Vayne upgrading to the Blood Word. more stats coming in for the Vayne, more lifesteal, more damage, more attack speed.
Look at all that. It's a thing of beauty. 5th dragon about to come up. We're having the Direwolves going to be taking the river early on.
Now, I do want to point something out. Victor did so much damage to Syndra in the last fight. That was the reason they were going to take him out. He's becoming a menace, especially since he's working towards that Void Staff right now.
Thresh is being able to get caught with the hook. Orin's going to be able to follow out. Graves going to flash out, and no one went down. Just abilities being used, and the 3rd dragon, the 3rd ocean, going over to the Direwolves.
Wow. Good follow-up.
They pick up the Zoe here at the end of it. 3 ocean dragons.
Can I just point something out? That Shen Shield came in at the end onto the Zoe. Was like, what, 600, 700 HP strong?
Yep.
Yet the Electrocute and one ability comes in and shreds it all? That's just something you gotta watch out for. That Syndra is super, super strong right now. You need MR. It's not even a question anymore.
With Shen at level 13, 2 levels down, just that ult is just not having the effect that he would have wanted.
Yeah, we're past that. We're past that whole Shen issue, where Shen ult someone to save them. Shen ult someone to save someone doesn't even matter. Like,
you need the Shen for the engage now. That is just what you gotta do.
Zoe's too far behind. Zoe's he's underground. Like, she's underground. Vincent is diving.
You're saying it's kind of like a Denver airport type situation?
Yeah, like
okay.
deep.
Okay, nice.
She might, like Bruce Willis in that core, or not core, what's that one where he goes to the asteroid?
Oh, Armageddon.
Yes, digs down deep.
That's a tearjerker, man. Don't tell me you didn't feel emotional there when he sacrifices.
Bruce Willis. Oh,
dude, for his daughter. Oh. He loves her. He loves humanity.
I hope to God if there's ever an asteroid issue like that, we can send someone up that's half as cool, bro. Actually, that Asian dude I showed you, who's got like 6 PhDs and is doctored and a Navy SEAL, that's the guy we send up.
Damn.
Okay.
He'll get.
My life goals have not been the same, I guess.
No, Syndra's top, though. Syndra's top trying to
CC, but on a
oh my god!
Oh, that's a triple! Unbelievable! That's so exciting! Orange! Set it up! Syndra's knocking it down!
Oh my god!
Oh, Mike just one hits there, one tap.
Hank just using this Chaos Storm to try and wave clear. That's like what you've got to do at this moment. The damage is there onto reverse, but that's the Ornn, not any key damage dealers. And that is a problem. Oh, but the hook.
Very deep. They're going to dive into the final turret. Being able to clean up here at the end. Sorenyaga taking out the inhibitor, but the rest of the team is followed, and the Bonobos are out. It is a full ace, and it looks like the Direwolves are going through, and it looks like we're going to have a game 3.
Okay, first off, Syndra's out here paying by numbers, bro. Just one hitting people. Just easy games.
Easy indeed. Can't let that Syndra get ahead or else that happens, and we are going to a game 3 after a huge turnaround by the Direwolves. What an amazing turnaround. From a close game, bad early game, to now a pretty good early game and just snowballing it away. That's the danger of the Direwolves. They can come back when all hope seems lost, and at the same time, if you give them the lead, they can snowball that away.
Stripes. This is what Rav was saying. Rav did his Nostradamus and predicted that the Direwolves, if you do not give it to them hard and fast, consistently in the early game, they have this ability to be the comeback kids. They come back stronger. This second game was amazing.
It was amazing indeed.
To come back from that, holy.
Comfort pick is huge, and it's going to be very interesting to see what bands come out on the side of the Bonobos. Are they going to stick with the same 3 bands with the Maokai, Rakan, and the Samira, or are they going to see something different? Nope.
They threw in the Kale there too, was a little bit
Oh,
unusual.
nope. It wasn't Maokai. Maokai was banned by the Direwolves. It was they, for the past 2 games they banned Samira, Kale, and Rakan. Kale is still really, really strong with scaling. She just doesn't hit the same power spike at 11 anymore.
Holy Jesus, that is.
This will be up in just a few minutes while the teams get set up. Let's just take a quick break while they get set up, and we'll be right back when we get into Champ Select.
Insane. Liking what I'm seeing from Very Wet. Controlled play in the vein. Good wall stuns. Syndra was out there smurfing. It didn't. What the heck was it? Bonobos didn't seem like the same team. It almost seems like they're like. They can turn it on. Like, I feel like Game 3 from Bonobos is going to be some comfort champions from them.
Yo.
Yo,
How's it going?
good. Got myself a drink.
Waff coming.
No.
Alright. We'll be ready at 10:05.
Hi. Rush.
I've
seen the
like
Fnatic
pick
rush.
call. Yep.
Okay. Oh, the sweeper is there. They're onto 3-man stun. 3-man stun. That's 3 kills over to the Direwolves, including some huge kills onto the Victor and the new. Those are some huge ones. That's going to be a free Ocean Soul, and that's going to be
That's
2
not just
inhibitors minimum.
And that was a clip that was made of our semifinal. So if you come on to the LOL Amateur Series 1 Twitch page here and go ahead and make a clip of one of the videos or streams that we've done, and we can go ahead and play the clip in a future broadcast. That's something I'm going to be looking for in future broadcasts. Go ahead and make a clip of the series that you're in or one that you're watching, and I'll go ahead and play it on the future stream. Here's just a little bit of the semifinals here on my YouTube channel before we get back into this finals action.
3-man stuns against teams with Victor is pretty common for the Direwolves, isn't it? You also have that push for that point about the goal difference. Ezreal's actually up. That Ezreal is going to be the person you want that on. But once again, a 1-for-1, but if you're the Rebels, you just gotta say worth, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You keep Sorenyaga out of the jungle there for just a little bit of time, and it's just going to cost you your Thresh. You can
Not to mention that
setting
shutdown
up around the map, and you can start pushing out some lanes and continue to get gold onto your carries. You have a 4th dragon coming up soon. You have a Baron, and you're down 4,000 gold. They can still do it. The Rebels, they're showing that they've still got a lot of fight left in them, but they're running out of time. And because of the early dragon work that the Direwolves have put in, they can have this big buff at this early time. It's coming right up, and they're already setting up for it.
One thing I also forgot to mention when talking about the Cloud Soul earlier is Cloud Soul on itself is probably the weakest of the souls, but give that to someone like Rakan, it is so much stronger. There's no way to actually predict what soul you're actually going to get. There's no way to set it up in any way, but when good situations like this happen, Cloud Soul and Rakan, it is a slightly worse match than Xayah and Rakan, which means it's a really damn good one.
But here, the setup going, Vi is all going to go right in the back. They're both targeting the Ezreal, who still hasn't gone down yet. Ezreal being
somehow he's alive.
Wow.
Somehow he's alive, but it looks like his jungler is not going to be. Max is going to get a kill onto Reverse, though. Hard Rock, it will end up falling. That's a triple kill over to the Vayne. Max will go golden, but he will go down to Zora, and it looks like that will be Cloud Soul over to the Direwolves.
Well, they had that team fight right by the dragon. We knew it was going to happen. The Direwolves just have too much power in their kit.
They have too
many
much
items.
power.
Yep.
Here's the actual power. It's the engage potential of a Vi and Malphite ultimate.
Well,
They didn't end up killing the Ezreal outright.
Nope.
But they got him low enough where he had to play so passively that he wasn't putting out so much damage. Because one auto from basically anyone on that team could have killed him.
You could tell what the call was, right? Ezreal, yeah, all right. And then Vi goes in, Malphite directly on top. And yeah, you got to see the result. That 100%
Ooh, I like this call. I like this call a lot. They are trying to sneak Baron. There's not really... If they can... Oh.
Yeah.
Reverse didn't see him. Reverse didn't see him.
No. It was a percentage
Reverse
play.
didn't see him. So Vi back two. They're just gonna get Baron for free.
There's a percentage that someone in the Direwolves comes and wards it or walks by the river, and there you saw the play when it works out, and absolutely nobody goes by. But that was not 100% certain at all from the.
It was
Rebels
100.
there.
It still was a safe play unless all 5 members of the Rebels or the Direwolves showed up and just hard engaged on them while they were on Baron. Because if someone worded it, they could just back off. There was no real risk there. They need to get something.
Okay, and that was just a little bit of the semifinals. But here I am with my mascot Yuki, and it looks like we're ready to cast Game 3. He's going to look on where I'm going to talk, but I'm really going to get my direction from this guy. But Stripes, yeah, that's right. There's going to be a third man in the cast, okay? It's going to be a cat. Waff is out, though. Just had some real-life stuff to take care of, so it's going to be you and me taking it home. Game 3.
All right.
Final game. Winner is the Season 1 champion of the LAS, the League Amateur Series, Season 1.
Well, to be fair, only the Masters division, as the Bonobos Academy took care of the Legends.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Congratulations.
Bonobos will take blue side for this upcoming one. I'm excited to see what bands come out. Maybe miscommunication?
Yeah,
with
that's gotta be. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and restart that.
They're backing out of a lobby. A little bit of a mistake coming out. No ban.
Ah, well, okay. Well, they need 5 players, so one of them wasn't there.
And once again, a mistake has come out. Sorry for these issues. Stuff happens from time to time, so we're trying to fix it. Now it's just all matter of getting actually organized into your positions. And apparently they're playing with a Kale bot. I don't know why.
I think a human player could probably do a little better. I've seen
Well,
pretty
a little
decent
bit.
play. These players, you know, I think they could
Although
outperform.
sometimes when I was in Iron and Bronze, I really honestly think a bot would have been better than some of my teammates.
At least you know what you're getting out of them, right?
At least you know what you're getting and you play around that. Bonobos are going to stick with the Samira ban first, but I think the rest are up for debate, up for interpretation, whatever you want to call it. I think they should change up some bans. Maybe let the Kale through. I don't see why Rakan is such a necessary ban other than comfort for Panzer, but at the same time, maybe you want to shift them away from comfort, but Nala is still a comfort pick, and there's Syndra right off the board.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vayne as a third ban just to get rid of those two carries from the last game. Yes, the Ornn played well, and it was a big part of that win, but the real flashy plays and most of the damage were done by the mid and the 80 carry, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't a Vayne ban. They're going to take the
Kale
out.
ban.
Okay.
Kale is still really strong, like I had said earlier. But I think that what the Bonobos could do is they could first pick Vayne here. You'd still take it away, and at the same time, you give yourself a really strong 80 carry, which can help shred through any tanks that they pick up on the other side. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Crystal ball. Wow, I did not think that was going to happen. That's their tactic right here. Their 80 carry must play Vayne. We're assuming it's going bot lane. Could be for the top. I was reviewing the Bonobos games, and I don't remember seeing a Vayne top. I don't remember seeing a Vayne. Period. I was reviewing the games.
Oh, they let the Rakan through, and it immediately gets picked up by Panzer. Here, I think a Leona pick would do wonders for the Bonobos. Rakan dives in, just quick, boop, with the Q, just stuns him up in place, and you can just shred through him. Vayne can take a little bit of time, move into a position to E him into a wall, and you can just shred through the Rakan before he has a chance to get out. Vi will come in for Sornaga as well. Good dive tools already, so you already know what they're going to want to go for with the Direwolves. Let's see what they pick up on the Bonobo side.
And I'd be surprised if they didn't pick up a tank next for the top lane.
Ooh. Olaf. Haven't seen much of Olaf recently.
He was in the bans of game 2, so he was banned out by the Direwolves. So now he's left open, and his percentages have gone up. He is doing very well with the new items. One of the top junglers that I saw on u.gg just a few days ago.
Indeed, and we also have the Braum coming in for the Bonobos, with Misfortune being the counter. Both bot lanes and both junglers have been solidified, so it's only mid and top. Presumably mid and top. Vayne could still flex around, we'll have to see, but I'm pretty sure it's going in the bot side, and that's the Katarina Respect ban. Pretty good. I do like the ban a lot, but and Ornn getting banned out as well. Don't want those ornaments. Who do you think would solidify both of these team comps right here? Because
Direwolves, I've already kind of said it. They're going to need a tank top, and that's why the Bonobos are going to go ahead and most likely ban Malphite second, just to kind of squeeze reverse off his comfort picks. So that's the obvious answers for the Direwolves. I think the more difficult answer is what do the Bonobos need? And to me, it would look like a wave clear mid would really help to be able to get this Vayne into late game and to really make sure that mid lane is pushing for your aggressive Olaf jungle who should be taking over the river and counter jungling and getting in skirmishes. So that's what I would pick for the Bonobos. Do you see something different, Stripes?
I do agree. They need a tank top. They need someone with a bit of reliable engage. You have Vi, you have Rakan. Vi is really good at locking down a single target. Rakan can ult in and W people up, possibly getting multi-man knockups, but at the same time it's not quite as reliable. But the Shen pick is perfect here. It really, really helps, especially since you already have two people that want to dive in. What's a third to help them do it?
Hey.
Plus, if you get some good taunts, you get some good knockups and stuns, good for the ultimate. And we see an Aatrox, ladies and gentlemen.
The AA getting unloose. The flak is going to be all over top lane.
Oh, I love this pick. I love the Echo pick. Echo is in a really, really good spot right now. The new items giving increased AP values, allowing him to pop off a lot more, get a lot more burst damage going in.
No, I don't believe it. It's a mid lane pick here. It's gonna be Yukimoto picking.
Anivia.
Oh, she got so buffed in 10.25. Please, as the Anivia player, let me recount. Big buffs is very, very viable at this point. I'm not sure if the 1025 stats have kind of... Yes, she's now the highest win rate in mid lanes in 1025, currently in Plat Plus over the world. She's now taken over by Storm. These recent changes, more than
by Ice Storm?
Yeah, the Ice Storm now is on a much shorter cooldown. For Anivia, it's no longer, I believe it was 6 seconds at all levels. Now it scales down to, I believe, a max of 1 or 2 seconds, which is so much faster at level 16, level 3. So she's very, very strong. And if Yukimoto has put games into her, it's very dominant at this point. Really, really smart of them to pick that up. And we're just going to see how comfortable Yukimoto is, because if he is, it can do really well into the Echo.
For some reason, it's showing me on Professor that the Vayne's going top is Braum ADC and Echo support. Like, what? Professor, please. Think reasonably here.
Don't think it's that, because we're reviewing all the names and they're all lining up where they should be. So
yeah,
it should be that.
Yeah, Professor's just being weird. But back to the game at hand, I do think that both teams are really good. There is a wave clear mid for the Direwolves to allow them to help later on into the game. The Anivia Ultimate is really, really good at wave clear, as we all know. The wall did get a bit of a buff. It extended range. I believe it's a 100 increased in 100 with it all rank. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's more of the damage that I saw the difference. The Q burst damage got a significant increase, and as well as the Q, if it goes past someone, it does give them the ice ability. So you're able to E on top of it for additional damage. Before, you used to have to break your Q onto someone in order to get that extra damage with your E. Now you don't have to do it. And combine that with the quicker to cast ultimate with your R Ice Storm, and it just makes her so much easier to play. I think the wall got a small buff, but I don't think that's what's making her the best mid laner in the game right at this point.
Indeed, it's small, but in certain situations, in skirmishes in the jungle through choke points, granted, especially useful if we get to a mountain map, where we might see blocking off, because everyone here can get over a wall on the Bonobos side, except for possibly
Olaf.
Two of the people you want to get over the wall, the Olaf and the Vayne. They will have to commit flashes, go a long way around. So if you get a good wall to cut those two off, that can be really, really helpful, especially if they are far enough away that Vayne can't shoot over the wall to get some free value in. But I think the real value is going to come from this Echo. Nivea doesn't have a lot of kill pressure early on. Meanwhile, Echo, especially with Electrocute, can pump out some serious, serious damage early on in the game. Not to mention, once he hits 6, he has his get out of jail free card in his ultimate, allowing him to stay alive and even go for some more risky plays that you wouldn't be able to do on other champions.
So we're seeing a shift from last game. So this game, we're seeing the Direwolves with that last mid pick. And so Yukimoto picking the Anivia as a counter to the Echo. Remember, in game 2, the Zoe was picked as a counter for Syndra, but did not fare well in the lane. Ended up not being a great last pick. Let's see if Yukimoto on the other side of the map on the Direwolves team is being able to make this work a little bit more. As we were seeing on the u.gg site there, I was showing on the screen, Anivia is a counter to Echo, so does do well. I believe it's about the 7th or 8th strongest counter against the Echo. But again, you've got to know how to play it correctly in order for that to work. And there's going to be a whole lot of early pressure here from Olaf, or at least there should be. You have a big damage advantage over the Vi early on, and you really want to use that. And you really suffer if you don't have a lead by that mid-game mark. As an Olaf player, I know it sucks at 25 minutes if you're behind as Olaf. And yeah, really not much you can do. You're an axe. You're an axe in a tank. That's it.
Exactly. You do have abilities that make you immune to CC with that Ragnarok, but it's a give and take there because it passively gives you armor and MR. But the moment you activate Ragnarok, you lose it for the duration of the ultimate. So it's give and take. But keep in mind, Olaf does have a lifesteal amplification on his W. And Bonobos were looking for a level 1 play, and was spotted out and nothing really came of it. Just a little stun onto the Braum just to dissuade them from going
aggressive pings there for a ward. Let me check who was that. Let me see. No, we can't see that with the chat. Okay. But
possibly a misclick from Paint as he accidentally used heal.
Oh, okay. Well,
Getting
there you go.
blamed by his own team ever so lightly, but hopefully
there. Check that out.
Hopefully that's not too much of an issue. Hopefully the Braum can play safe enough where not having that heal is going to not impact the lane as much as it could. I do also want to point out a very aggressive ward from the Shen. Able to do it because most of the Bonobos showed on the bottom side of the map, so he was able to walk in and get very, very aggressive with his warding.
So I just have the camera here over the mid lane, and this is a matchup that I know well as the Anivia. So level 1, especially when you're in a range matchup here as the Anivia, you want to be autoing the Echo as much as possible level 1 because you're a range versus a melee. After that, Echo is going to have an easier time getting in on you. So you want, just against any mid laner, really focus that level 1. You want to land 3, 4, 5 autos before level 2 hits, just to be able to get a little bit of a damage advantage, because until level 6 you're often in a very, very hard spot as Anivia. So just that level 1 and level 6 are your good points. Everything else in between is really hard. It's the most pivotal part about playing Anivia, being able to get to level 6 without dying, holding your turret.
In addition, getting that second blue buff that spawns is going to be very crucial for the Anivia. Not so much the Echo, but it'll be very, very crucial, especially when Anivia hits 6, because that ultimate can be a mana drain at times. But you know what's not going to be a mana drain? The top lane. No resource user in Aatrox versus an energy user in Shen. So health is going to be the biggest thing as we have the gank coming up.
Olaf going to be getting taunted, but the flash is going to be used by Reverse. So that is the summoner used. So successful gank from the Olaf going up through try. And
Indeed.
Shen is fortunate just to lose that.
Something I want to keep in mind that is very, very helpful when for your starting itemization. Think about buying a Doran's Blade first, because even if you're a mage user, just consider it, because it's not the best on everybody, but it gives you Omnivamp now instead of Lifesteal. So that's going to be very, very helpful for some more sustain in lane. Plus, it'll give you that little bit more AD that allows you to last hit minions much more effectively, as we know mages have pretty low starting AD values, which can make it kind of hard to last hit if you're used to someone like a marksman or more AD-centric champion.
Stripes, I like to dream I'm the type of guy to start Doran's Blade every game. Being aggressive, being assertive, really
you want to be
establishing
aggressive, Darksteel.
Yeah, but sometimes Doran's Shield's just the way to go, and I'll listen to my inner ego and check it sometimes, especially against, let's say, like a Caitlyn or an Ashe lane type of thing.
Yeah.
Doran's Blade, maybe that's the baller play, but it's maybe not the smartest. But
it all depends on matchup, to be honest.
Olaf here on the bot side just hit level 4 with that camp. He's going to be spotted here in the tri-bush.
They're going to walk away, but they did get a plate, though, so that is pretty big. I don't know where all that gold went. I'm pretty sure it actually... I think it's split.
Well, the AD carry has more of an advantage for the Direwolves. The supports are pretty much even, so it possibly was solo. But the engage here, the knockup landing from Panzer.
It was entirely solo.
Gotcha, okay, that makes sense. Looking at the gold numbers, like a full 200 and some up, but engage into mid lane, and early damage here, level 5 for Anivia. You're very weak at this point. Trying to get to that level 6 and engage under the bottom. Vane's going to be trying to get as much damage as possible. He's going to land a few hits. Third shot going to be landing, but over the wall it goes, and Olaf being able to pick him up. A kill and an assist. Dragon looks like it's next on the platter in this multi-course meal, and how many courses are we going to be getting in this delectable delight of a final series? Stripes.
Huge plays. Olaf was in the right place at the right time. Not only did Vayne get the W proc off, but because Braum landed the Q prior, not only did you do 8% true damage, 8% max health true damage, but you also got the stun on him because of that Braum passive, which was huge. Allowed Olaf to come in, help clean up the kills. Flashes and heals were committed. There are no summoners in the Direwolves bot lane, which is really, really good for the Bonobos. And it didn't even help them in the end, as they both ended up dying because of the Braum passive, because of the Vayne E into the wall at the end to make sure that Panzer didn't get away. While bot lane still is slightly favored in MF's side because of how much Very Wet is actually farming and how well he's doing, and neither of the kills went to the Vayne. One went to the Braum, one went to the Olaf. But if you're the Olaf, you're feeling really, really good. Something I do also want to point out, Thor with a very, very early Executioners. Really helpful against Olaf, who W is literally giving him more lifesteal and some attack speed. That's it.
That tells me he's going to be. He wants to early skirmish. He wants to fight for these scuttles, and he wants to fight for these early dragons and rift heralds. So that's what it tells me. Otherwise, there's no reason to build that item. Yeah, unless you're looking early. Maybe you build it later, but early is very unusual, as you're pointing out.
Could also be looking to attack topside more. Speaking of topside, Reverse is in trouble. Oh, and he gets taken down by Lynx.
Remember, the flash was used from that Olaf gank earlier. Did not have it up. It's just coming up now. Action coming up into the top side. We're seeing Sornyaga being able to go in. Q's going to land the knockup. We're seeing the flash over the wall, but it's going to be followed up by the R of Vi. Who's going to be going down on the backside. Olaf now 2-0-1, like you're saying. He is macho man, and he is a macho man with this early Iron Spike whip. It looks like he's going for that Gore Drinker, which I have been playing to death. I've been loving it. It's doing great into the jungle, and it gives you much needed damage and lifesteal in those team fights. AoE lifesteal as well, and damage.
Indeed. It will... I believe it was nerfed a little bit for subsequent... Either that, or it's going to be nerfed for subsequent healing more after the first champion hit with it. So you don't just heal back up to full health after hitting the entire enemy team, and you just 1v5 because of Gore Drinker alone. But you really gotta watch out, because that Gore Drinker is still super powerful, especially in 1v1s. Just like Silas W, low health can be deceiving when the opponent has a Gore Drinker. You really need that Executioner's Calling or that Oblivion Orb, which, as we've said earlier, Sora already has, which is actually going to be doubly effective because of the Aatrox's kit, allowing him so much Omni-Vamp, or Physical Vamp, whatever you want to call it, because of just his innate ability as a champion and how his kit was designed.
Shen appears to be in a tough spot now. Cannot come up and challenge the wave. Is a whole level down, as well as an item component. Going down, that kill. Yes, he's got his flash up, but just doesn't want to take any more unnecessary damage. And Lynx, YouTube, YT, is playing this carry matchup extremely well. Let's see if he's going to be able to carry that into the split pushing part of this game. Can he get pressure and cause Shen to have to follow him into solo lanes?
And we take a look at what Olaf has completed. The Gore Drinker is finished.
That's an early item. Before
very early for the mythic item.
Yep.
No one else in the game is close to it, honestly. MF is the closest one to an item as well. Looks like Aatrox might be going for a Sheen item, not having the Sheen itself, or just could be going for Black Cleaver as a first item. Execute will find Anivia, and it looks like that Anivia will end up falling in the end. Passive, too far forward to take any full advantage, as Rift Herald will actually get dropped mid too.
They used it pretty fast. They want to get these mid turrets, but they're only going to get the 2 plates.
Sometimes it's better to just drop it for plates than try for the full tower and get nothing out of it.
Absolutely. So, as a jungler, you have to weigh that consistently.
Now, if we looked on the other side, if Direwolves had gotten that Rift Herald, definitely would have looked to drop that bot side, because 3 plates are already gone. That would have been a guaranteed first tower. But there were really no plates taken at all prior to that Rift Herald getting dropped. Probably one just top lane. So just drop it, get the gold into one of your carries, and then just keep going. And we have a second Gore Drinker completed onto the Aatrox now. Again, lifesteal going to be very, very huge as more mythic items come online before they come on for the Bonobos, before they come online for the Direwolves.
Very wet here, starting to set up the freeze. You can see the minion and a half there. And that way when they last hit, it's going to keep the wave at this spot and not push it. Most of the gold on the Direwolves team is on Very Wet. He's getting it through CS and turret plates, but still no kills. But he's got the most gold despite no kills. So he does have a couple of item components, still no mythic yet. He's most likely holding gold. Let's take a pick. Got 1,250 as Brahms diving in. He's level 7, splitting the level of the Rakan. But Rakan's going to go in. Wow, he's going to be able to land The ultimate is going to be landing onto both of them. First kill is going to be going over towards Braum. It's going to be the first kill for the Direwolves. The first one's often the hardest to get. And now they've started perhaps on a long road ahead. Can they catch up? 3 showing bottom. Soranyaga. Looking
More
to finish
plates.
off. Yeah.
More solo plates into this MF.
Oh, nice move from the Vayne.
Oh!
But you can't do
But it
anything.
won't be enough! The ult coming in from the Vi. Oh, but this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Sora's in trouble. Shen ult is coming out though. And it looks like Vincent will back away as they turn back to the bot lane tower and secure first turret in the bot lane.
So let's see what the Direwolves decide to do. A lot of teams will put their bot lane either in mid or in top after they knock down this bottom turret. Let's see what they
Reverse
decide
does
to
TP
do.
top lane to secure
Exactly.
minion wave.
Yeah, so they didn't want that
Want to give
tower
up
to go
too much
down.
farm.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a quick look at the gold difference right now. It's a 1k gold lead in favor of the Bonobos. Well, but where is that? There is an 1100 gold lead for the Aatrox in the top lane. In the jungle, it is roughly 800. 800 for the Echo in mid lane. Meanwhile, 1300 gold lead for the Misfortune. Misfortune completing equips before Paint is able to complete. Looks like going to be a Kraken Slayer this game. So we'll see. Oh, the stun comes up on to Panzer, but not enough damage to take him down. And with Very Wet being as strong as he is, very, very dangerous for an all-in. Already get chunked down. Not having to use the ultimate. It looks like bot tower is gonna fall in favor of the Bonobos too.
Getting some much needed gold back on the Vayne. Paint is trying to show Very Wet that he knows how to play Vayne, that Very Wet doesn't have the monopoly on the champion. In fact, perhaps they can get a win on the Vayne. Olaf
We'll have
going
to
in,
see
did
as
hit
there's
that
some
out.
action in mid lane.
Yeah, he did, but deciding to head back down towards the dragon area. This dragon is up in the next minute. There you go, the ping's going out. Braum is saying, hey, the dragon's here. Let's start setting up for it. Rift Herald is also up as well as the Scuttle Crab, as we're seeing Link starting that off.
It is that Ocean Soul again. If the Bonobos get this dragon, they will be on Soul Point, and there will be no room for error around the dragons for the Direwolves. Kraken Slayer is completed for the Vayne. More mythics are being completed.
Oh, big engage here. Anivia being able to catch him out. Did have vision on that bush. We're having Yukimoto being able to do tons of damage onto the back line. But Lynx and Ferris are being able to get to the back. But they're not able to do enough damage. Braum's able to survive. We're having, what was that, a 3 for 1? Damn.
A 3 for 1 indeed. Very White got taken out pretty early. He wasn't able to pump out damage. He wasn't able to use the bullet time. They did end up getting Venson, but they lost their top laner, their jungler, and their ADC, and they're going to lose the dragon as well. And we're looking at potentially a 22-minute soul for the Bonobos. This could, if they get the Ocean Soul, it's going to be a lot harder for them to actually come back for the Direwolves. You will have the Gore Drinker. You'll have the Gore Drinkers on the Aatrox and the Olaf. You're going to have the ability, the kits that increase the amount of healing you can do to yourself on both of those champions. It might at some point overwhelm the measly 40% grievous wounds that you get. It is quite possible that could happen, as they're looking to take down the Rift Herald again for the Bonobos.
Bonobos just looking to bully this play as they already got control in the vision. 2 control wards out is keeping the vision dark from Direwolves, and they're going to have to go ahead and face check that. They're going to see the Rift Herald being taken in front of them. We're seeing Yukimoto get a lot of damage here from the outside, but it's not going to be enough as you're seeing the Rift go over to the Bonobos. And not only that, but being able to take a kill on the back end too. It'd be highly advised for them to wait to use it to get this turret down first before pressing onwards. Let's see, do they continue? No, they decide to back and reset. This Rift Herald's very important right now. No need to rush it. This is their way to go ahead and secure this victory from the Direwolves. Any sort of major team fight win, 2 or more players, and you could be threatening an inhibitor when you have this Rift Herald. That's how powerful it is.
Indeed, and we saw the wave clear of the Anivia once again. Being able to ult the entirety of the minion wave. You get the damage from the ultimate and the damage from Leandri's as well, allowing you to clear the wave quick enough so they weren't able to actually take down the tower and pressure on the tier 2 or tier 3 just yet. But it's almost inevitable at this point because of how low the mid turret is. We'll see if there will be someone to collect the tower gold, which it looks like there will be in the Aatrox and the Braum. Unless Yuki can just keep this minion wave in check.
Still get a fraction, a little less than 5% on this mid. He's going to try to hold as long as he possibly can. Gives him a little bit of defense, but it could be a false sense that if you get 3 or 4 members of the Bonobos charging in, that tower turret's not going to be lasting too long, especially if they're coordinated and hitting it.
Often will miss the Q, so he won't be stacking that passive yet.
Split push.
We want to point out Baron has just spawned. There is nearly a 5k gold lead. Speaking of the passive, it's stacking on the Vi right now, but she manages to get away with the Q, but she still gets done in the end, but there's no follow-up in there.
Oh disastrous! No! He accidentally hit that blast cone. It's going to launch Aatrox into the middle of his team, and he just got suicided by his own teammate. What is that called? Murder! Murder! Friendly fire! What? BevF's going to be trying to catch even more here on the back end. It's just a 1-0, and he's going all the way in. Sorinyaga down past the first turret, right into the back, and he's got 2 people down. Do they go for the Baron? Very Wet is half health, so is the jungler.
It's very dangerous right now. Echo has so much burst potential, especially if he gets a multi-man Q. He can just E1 and just regularly auto the other and just proc his passes on both of them, knocking them super low to get taken down by the Baron, if not by itself, because do remember the Baron shreds MR. Those greens, those goo stacks you see in the bottom when you're doing Baron, that is reducing the amount of MR you have. So Echo becomes a lot more lethal when he's trying to stop a Baron attempt because of that fact alone. And you don't have someone like the Olaf, like the Aatrox, that has a crap ton of lifesteal, allowing you to just keep healing up and surviving, if not turning on the Echo trying to steal it. So I think not going for Baron is the right call. And at the same time, you want to go for this dragon because they're on Soul Point, and they're going to engage right now.
CC, 1, 2, 3, and he gets knocked out. Paint is taken out of the fight before this dragon fight. Multiple forms of CC landing there. The Anivia Q making sure. But this is going to be a 5-on-4 if they decide to commit. You're seeing the Bonobos with the 4, and they're going deep inside the river. Olaf's going to be diving right into the team. You see Shen way into the mid lane. He's going to be escorting the Rift, but you're seeing the Dragon still being contested over. It's the Direwolves being able to win this fight, and they're back. They're back as Stripes. What are they going to do now? It's an ace.
They're going straight for the Baron. That's exactly what you should do in this situation. A triple kill for Very Wet. 5, 2, and 3. Already has Eclipse. Already has a Collector. Sitting on 1,800 gold. About to be 2,200 with the passive. And the 300 gold he's going to get from this Baron that they're going to take. Swans are coming in right now, but I think they just shred this Baron too fast. They're not going to be able to contest, especially since Yukimoto is in the mid lane, taking down the tier 1 turret. Already down to 5,000. Yeah, there's not going to be a contest here from the Bonobos. And look at that gold lead. It's even now, but now it's in favor of the Direwolves once again. I'm seeing repeats of game 1.
These games are so entertaining to cast. The swings that we're getting like this, I'm getting flashbacks from childhood here of the teeter-totter, okay? It's just going back and forth, back and forth. And then sometimes you get slammed on the ground and your butt hurts. But it's just all part of the good time, and the good time is what we're having right here. Game 3 of the LAS Finals. The Boosted Bonobos here, they finished number 1 in the season, and they're trying to finish number 1 in the Masters Division here against the Direwolves, who did the upset in the semifinals, and they're looking for another upset here in the finals. Can they do it? Coming back from a massive deficit, 3 dragons, and that was 6,000 or 7,000 gold as well.
Indeed. The gold, it is roughly a 600 gold lead in favor of the Direwolves. We have that seal. We have more forms of Grievous Wounds coming out for the Direwolves. Good thing to keep it on multiple members. And something to keep in mind, Anivia just finished the Seraph's Embrace. Having that tier fully stacked when you have bought Archangels immediately upgrades it. They're going on the engage. What a Q from Panzer to get out of there in time.
Yep, quick thinking on that one. That needed some very quick reactions. Easy to miss that. He's on the ball. Panzer Villari on his comfort pick, Rakan.
0, 1, and 9. Putting in a lot of work, getting some good engages, not dying too often. In fact, tied with the least amount of deaths on the server, along with the Anivia and the Olaf. So some really good for a support, and that's going to be a top tower taken down as Reverse, getting pressured by Vincent. Forced to flash away, too.
Smart flash. Could not stick in there, but all kinds of damage here from the Anivia. Gonna put the R in the right spot, right in front of the turret. Meanwhile, Very Wet finishes it off. They got one turret down now with their Baron. I believe they also got a top turret and at least put some pressure there, so they're getting some gold, and they've got a small lead. But here, Echo's looking for the dive. He's going to be going right into the back line. We're having MF here in the back, going to be able to survive. Now here on the other end, MF being able to ult bullet time right through the back of the fight. We're having fights all over the place, and it's a 3-on-3 left. Direwolves pushing right through the mid. Remember, they do have Baron buff. MF still close to full health. Remember, she is healing. She does get lifesteal with that W. And Yukimoto being able to clear those minions. They've got a deal here. Yukimoto on Anivia clears the minions, and Very Wet takes the towers. I like that type of agreement. It looks like a buddy flick out there. What do you think? Lethal Weapon type? Something like that.
I don't know. Oh, if you have Lethal Weapon when you have 3 of your friends die around you and you only take 2 of the bad guys down as well. That seems like a very bad trade for you, especially since all of those kills went onto Vincent on this Echo, hitting those power spikes more. Now he has that Seeker's Arm Guard, working towards the Zanyas, already has Lichbane, already has Rocket Belt. This Echo is going to be much, much more lethal as the game progresses on, and you just gotta watch your backline. You need to be very mindful if you are Panzer, because you don't want this Echo to dive onto your misfortune and just blow her up before she's able to do anything useful.
So what you're saying is there's got to be consent in the blowing. Is that what you're saying? I have heard that from somewhere. Yes. I don't remember where, but yeah, I have heard that. But here, Flash coming in, it's going to set up the Dragon fight, 4th possibly for the Bonobos. Echo going in,
coming in
not
for
going to take
Aatrox.
a whole lot of damage. Braum is going to be following up. It's going to get the knock up onto the Rakan, but not on the targets they really wanted. It's going to be the Bonobos who are diving in. It's going to get the passive out of the Anivia. They're diving in the back. It looks like they've got the advantage, but we have 3 kills here 4
Triple
paint.
for paint, possible penta if they can catch up, but no, they're just gonna turn and get the soul. That is gonna be Ocean Soul for them. Gold may be even, but it's clear that the Bonobos are currently favored because of this Ocean Soul. But you're gonna have to keep in mind, what spawns in 6 minutes? The Elder. Elder is much more powerful than any soul in the game, so you're gonna have to be very, very mindful of that. If you're the Direwolves, you want to try and stall this game out as long as possible. Try and get to that Elder Soul fight. This is where these grievous wounds come in handy, because there's now everyone has some reliable forms of healing in the form of that Ocean Soul. So you're gonna have to be very, very careful of that. Shen has a Thorn Mail. Chempunk Chainsword, excuse me, on that Vi. Mortal Reminder on the MF. Oblivion Orb on Anivia. Rakan's the only one who doesn't have it, which is perfectly fine. He's not a damage dealer. He's an engage tool. So you're gonna want to be very, very careful. But if you're the Aatrox or the Olaf, you might be getting to the point very soon where it's just you just disregard that 40%. The 60% is where you start getting worried for healing reduction.
We all know what dance it is. It's the Baron dance. Both teams starting to
Indeed.
set up for it. We're having the boost of Bonobos being able to get there first, and we're having the jungler here on the back nine. He is knocked up. He does use the Hourglass, but can the Direwolves finish him up? Soranyaga being able to get the CC, not quite able to finish it off, and it's all kind of fighting on the back end. Aatrox being able to get in with the ult, and we're having the Bonobos being able to take it, but a massive bullet time from the very wet. He's able to get all kinds of damage, but it's a 4-on-2 now for the Bonobos. They're looking to try to finish. Panther Valari is just going to buy a little bit of time here with the Hourglass. It's just Yukimoto. He's trying to take him on. He's like Rambo in the 80s, trying to fight all of these people in the jungle. It's just that there's too many. And just like in the 70s, the U.S. had to retreat from Vietnam, and Anivia is the U.S. in this scenario.
She had to fall back. You had so much damage, but this is where the Ocean Soul comes into play. So much healing for the entirety of the Bonobos, allowing them to stay in the fight much, much longer. And while, yes, you have some grievous wounds, 40% isn't enough, especially against this Olaf and this Aatrox that have life-steal steroids built into their kits. They have Gore Drinkers that can just heal massive amounts of health. And the Ocean Soul on top of that. There was just so much healing now, it makes them pretty much unkillable.
Would you classify they have healing up the wazoo? Is that kind of like where you'd put it? Like 11 out of 10 type
up
of
the
thing?
one,
Yeah.
up through and out the wazoo.
Ooh.
Much more than any. So what needs to happen right now is the Direwolves need to stall this game out. They need to get that Elder. And I don't even know if they can fight for the Elder. They need to secure that objective. That burn will immensely help the Anivia, especially since she's working towards that Demonic's Embrace as well. So you'll get some damage over time from 4 sources instead of 3. The Ultimate, the Leandries, the Demonic Embrace, and the Elder. Making it very, very lethal. Not to mention, people don't often use this, but Demonic Embrace actually gives you armor and MR for champions affected by your Demonic Embrace. You get 10 base and plus 2.5 for every champion past that. So you can get a maximum of 20 bonus armor and MR from Demonic's Embrace. You need to hit that power spike before you hit Elder, and judging by the items in Yuki's inventory, you'll definitely have it before then. But it's going to be tough because of the amount of damage that is just constantly getting pumped out from the Bonobos.
All 3 waves are pushing right into the Direwolves. This is what you want to do when you have Baron. Aatrox went ahead and reset. Has his 3 items and components. Does have teleport up, including Shen.
That stance not very helpful against Anivia anymore. That is just flat damage reduction turned into a bleed. It's now only physical, but takedowns will heal you for 10% of your max health. And looks like they're going to go for the full dive.
Very wet, getting targeted, but getting protected by the Shen. It's working this time to a charm. Diving is the Bonobos. We're having Vayne here deep into the base, who's got the ult up and running. Gets the Anivia egg right underneath the Nexus turrets, and they're fighting behind all the defenses that they have. But are the towers going to be enough? It doesn't seem like it. Vayne is just going nuts with the Quadra. Went for the Penta into the Nexus, but he's not going to be able to get it. Direwolves being able to defend here with the help of their laser, but they need much more than that. They need players, they need abilities, they need items, and they don't have any of those. It's just Vayne and all the chem punk, chainsaw, lifesteal items in the world. They're not going to be enough to stop this team from getting back into this game, and we have our Season 1 champions. If they can finish, dare I say, it might not be enough. Shen is up.
I don't think it's enough right now. That takedown onto the Olaf was actually massive. That's one less person. They only get an inhibitor turret off of that. They got greedy for the kill on the Vi. Cost them a little bit of damage and didn't put a lot of damage onto the turrets as well. And Vi getting the kill on Olaf off of that attack speed steroid and allows them to do it, but they're right in position to take this Elder. They don't have a jungler for another 12 seconds. Neither does the Direwolves as well. So it's going to be dangerous for this Elder for both sides. Junglers are coming up now though.
Yep, Shen out here in the front line, going for the double taunt, just barely missing out. Oh, I hope that's not disaster, but we're having a Panzer here on the back line, beat him to knock it up, and these guys are already down so fast, all of them down before the jungler gets there. And the double TPs are going to make this all but a certainty. Stripes, do we have a soliloquy here?
There is no way, unless Sora pulls off some God mode stuff, which he'll just sit and spawn, prevent giving another kill, as we have the boosted Bonobos sweeping the league with their standard roster and their academy roster, taking home the Season 1 championship for the Masters Division.
Absolutely. We saw it. 3 dragons up and a gold lead, and the Direwolves came right back, as they so often do. Made it come right down to the wire, fighting for that Elder Dragon. And, wow, what a series. And crowning our champion, the boosted Bonobos, who won the Masters tier here, and then also over in the Legends division, winning their Academy team as well. So as I'm going to show it up on screen, they should have that up. The Legends, boosted Bonobo Academy, they ended up winning. And Masters, the Bonobos here going undefeated and winning the Masters defeated series as well. Not dropping a single game. That's right.
Not dropping a game until playoffs.
That's right. Only in the final. What a turn.
I think that this is the start of a great, great rivalry. I can't wait to see how this comes out later. As you did mention earlier, Rav, we do have the grand tournament coming up in January at some point. So we'll be looking to see how these two teams do, as well as the other teams that will be showing up. If you made playoffs, you made it to the grand tournament. So we'll see how the teams perform. We might have some underdog stories. We might have of the champions battle out, and who knows? We might have a boosted Bonobos versus boosted Bonobos Academy finals in the grand tournament. We'll just have to wait and see.
That's what's exciting about the format is a possibility that we can see some of these matchups up again, and we're also going to be seeing the Legends and Masters teams face off, and we're going to see who is the best of the LAS in this multi-tier process. So I'm just talking with the Bonobos to see if anyone wants an interview. And it looks like a few of the members of their team are down. A few of them have logged off, but and it looks like we're able to move into their chat. So why don't we hop into their chat and we'll have a quick interview with the members remaining.
All right.
Oh, actually we can't because we're blocked.
Yeah.
We're blocked. We cannot enter. So
Get Panzer to do it. Get Panzer to move us.
I'm going to go into general voice. We can go into general voice.
Welcome,
Hey.
Boosted Bonobos. Congratulations on your victory.
Bonobos.
Oh yeah, it's a Bonobo.
Boosted bonobos.
Boosted Bonobos. Sorry.
That's alright, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, we played League of Legends a day.
How did it feel going into this matchup?
Frustrating. My team wouldn't listen. But we won, after all, so.
And who was
Guess it was worth
who's
it.
speaking there? Who wasn't listening to you?
Top lane.
You know, to be honest, everyone. I carried the team so hard. Wasn't even close.
Our top lane had 0 control wards.
Oh, still coming up with the victory despite no control wards.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So, Brad pulled a good point. You were undefeated going into the playoffs. You 2-0'd the semis, and then you draw. Did you have confidence of you going 2-0, or do you think you were expecting a 2-1 either side?
we were
So
all
we were
confidence.
we were expecting a 2-0. That one game kind of brought it down. We were like, okay, we got to actually focus up on the third one. And yeah, I guess that's what we did, and we hard smurfed, especially our ADC with that
I
quadra.
wouldn't say
kill we
hard
got.
smirk, but we did good.
That ADC man, he's pretty good. We might have to give him
Yeah.
a wage increase.
Yeah.
Their mid was crazy, too.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you mean? He has a problem every game. Don't say a little bit.
Got to say
It was-
there was some entertaining games and some big comebacks as well, and it was never, no one was ever counted out of any of those games being fought right down to the end. What would you guys say would be the biggest turning point in the series, or in the last game? Is there a single type of play or a team fight that you could let us know that you really felt like, oh, okay, like we got it?
I believe it was the soul. Once we got the soul, we're
Yeah,
we're locked in for soul now.
We tried every dragon to 5-man, but if we couldn't, I mean,
Yeah,
we
that was
lost
strategy.
fights, obviously.
I really just wanted everyone on dragons just so we can get them
Yeah.
early. We got 3 early, and we just needed soul, and I think that closed it.
Yeah, Stripes was saying just
Indeed.
that. He was saying like, okay, you guys are confident now once you got that Ocean Soul.
Especially with an Olaf and an Aatrox
Yeah.
with so much healing built into their kits, in addition to the gore drinkers that both of them had. There was no way you were dying unless you were the last 2 alive. There was just no way that was going to happen.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
they nerfed that.
any last words from the Bonobos team? You guys are a pleasure to cast, and I'm sure I'm going to be casting you in the grand finals. Anything maybe for your competition in the grand finals, or any last words? I'll leave it up to you guys. Just
yeah.
say your player name and then go right ahead.
My name's Lofton. Take it easy on us. We need it.
There you go.
Alright, so my name is Vincent, and don't ban my Katarina, please.
There you go. Yep.
My name is Sunny. I'm the jungler, and I wish Lee Sin was good this patch.
There you go. All right, Stripes.
I
Any
have-
last
I
words
have
from you?
one- I have one last question indeed. Do you expect a boosted Bonobos versus boosted Bonobos Academy finals in the grand tournament?
I
Definitely.
hope so. It's an easy sweep. Bonobos have to play the game. Don't talk to me.
Being toxic to our own team.
We just have to ban like 2 of their pocket picks and it's done.
Yeah, a lot of them one trick.
I love the confidence, and I can't wait to see those matches coming up. We're going to have many more matches casted. We're going to be activating the Twitch. We're going to be starting to upload these videos now on the LAS YouTube, as well as my own personal YouTube. Stripes, where can people find you if they want to come see your work or just say hi?
Twitch.tv/StripesTT. You can come visit me over there. Also, be on the lookout in the near future, because I'm working on having like a little bit of putting games to hold us over for till the grand tournament, kind of like an all-stars event, but not really, because there's no like all-stars voting. Just a chill little thing where you have pugs, 1v1s, all different kinds of league-related mini games. So working that out. Be sure to watch for that when that gets all finalized. It's going to be a great time.
Great, awesome. Thanks for co-casting with me, Stripes. Special
Always
thanks
a pleasure.
for Waff, who was doing the 3-man cast for the first couple of games. Appreciate the third man in there. I myself, Caster Rav, otherwise known as Rav Exel, bringing you the LAS. Special thanks always goes out to Panzer Villari, Adam, for helping put this thing together. And we're going to see you guys in the grand tournament. And if you haven't signed up yet, there's still plenty of space open for the preseason Season 2, this preseason tourney. So we're going to leave you with our LAS theme song, and we're going to be seeing you in the grand tournament.
Peace.
You guys are good at this.
Done
You
it
got
a
a script
while.
written?
Nope.
Man, free balling.